Hi guys. Okay, so you just watched a video about an overall review of what division is and in relation to math facts and how to divide when you really can't do the long division method. You kind of just either have to know your math facts or skip count to figure out the answer along with the remainder. Right now what we're going to do is I'm going to give you a math problem and I want you to copy all of these down in your notebook. So maybe for this one, maybe don't write this one down. Maybe I would just sit and just listen to me explain this because when we do division in fourth grade, obviously in third grade you learned problems like this, whereas in fourth grade we'll get to problems like that, like more in the thousands or even larger. So once you've actually been able to divide, I feel like a number like 87 divided by 3, then you can divide anything by a one-digit number because you already understand the process of division. Now in fourth grade we teach two methods. We call them method one, method two. Method one is what you probably learned in third grade. It's where it's a little bit longer. It's like everything that you're thinking is kind of written out. And then we also teach another way. We call it method two, and it's the short way, and it's more mental. The two methods are the same exact thing, except this one, you're actually putting it on paper, and this one is more in your head. So we let you guys pick which one makes more sense. A lot of times kids come to fourth grade feeling really confident about division, or sometimes kids come to fourth grade being like, I like forget the steps and I'm not really sure what to do. So you are going to review and practice two ways, and I'm hoping that by the end of this video, you have found one way that you think is best for you and that you think makes sense and that you'll understand, because in the next chapter, we are going to do a lot of division. So I'm hoping you have a method that makes sense. All right, so I'm going to do first the way that I think that you've been taught in third grade. As a reminder, we are doing 87 divided by 3, just a visual. These are my ones and these are my tens. That means I have 8 tens and 7 ones. And I'm trying to take this and divide it equally into 3 groups, okay? So obviously we're going to divide up our tens first. That way, in case we have any leftovers, we can break them up and put them into our ones. So if you are doing it this way, just watch and I'm going to want you to see if this is coming back to you or not. If I'm doing 87 divided by 3, I'm taking 8 tens, and I'm thinking, how many times can I divide that by 3 evenly? So in my head, I always think 3 times what gets me really close to 8, or you can skip count on the sides, 3, 6, 9. Well, as you can see, it doesn't work evenly. However, I know that if I do, if I give everybody 2, so I take 2, 2, 2, then that means that if I've given up 3 groups of 2 tens, then that means I've given away 6 tens, which is 6 tens is 60. So I have given away 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 of those blocks. And then if I've given away 60 of the 87, I can subtract, and I have 27 left over, which makes sense. I have 10, 20, and then my 7 ones. Now, the thing that we're thinking right now is where kids get confused is this is my tens place up here. Everyone has 2 tens. I now have to divide the ones. If you're looking here, it says I have 27 and it says I have 7 ones, but the reason I technically have 27 ones is because I've taken these 2 tens, broken them up into 20 ones so I can divide them, and I now have 27 ones. Now I'm hoping in your brain you're thinking, oh, well, I know that 27 is divisible by 3 because I know my math facts, but if you don't, I can keep skip counting. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, and that is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9th number. So I know that if I do 27 divided by 3, everyone will get 9, and if I do that, then that means that all of them have been given away, and I don't have a remainder. Okay, so I know that 87 divided by 3 is 29. 29 is my quotient. Again, I can check this by doing 29. The opposite of division is multiplication times 3, and I'm going to hope that I get my 87. And I do, so I know my answer is correct. Now I'm hoping that this way, as you can see, the reason we call it the long written out way is because you can see all of my thinking going down the problem as I'm obviously subtracting. The reason we subtract in division is because division is repeated subtraction. Now, that was method 1. If that makes sense to you and you're on board, then stick with that and go with what makes sense. I'm going to show you another way, which at first sometimes confuses kids, but I'm hoping that it will make sense after a while. So I'm going to do the same problem, just watch. And instead of writing all of this out, I'm going to just keep it in my head. Again, I'm going to start with 8 tens. If I have 8 tens and I'm dividing that by 3, again, 3, 6, 9, I know that 8 falls in between 6 and 9, and I know that 3 times 2 gets me really close to 8 tens. 3 tens, 3 times 2 tens gets me really close to 8 tens. Okay, here's the part where it gets tricky. I'm not going to write anything down. Instead, I'm going to think of what my remainder, like how many tens do I have left over? If I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 tens, and I've done 3 groups of 2, what is my remainder? If I've gotten to 6, I've given away 6, and I need to give away 8, I can see, and in my brain, I know that I have 2 left over to get to 8. I'm going to take this remainder, and I'm going to put it next to my 1s because I know that I can't use those 2 tens and I have to regroup them into the 1s. And I know now that I have these 2 regrouped 10s plus these 7 1s, and my number is 27, which I'm hoping that you see is also that same number there, except I'm just writing it smaller and on the side. So now I have 27 1. I'm going to divide that by 3, which in my head I know is 9. And I'm going to think if I have a remainder or not. Well, I know that 9 times 3 is 27, and I've used all of these 1s, so I don't have anything left over, so my answer is 29. Now, as you can see, I had the exact same thought process as this one, except in method 1, I wrote it all down. I knew that I had 6, and then I knew I had those 2, and I regrouped it to be 27. I did all of that, but I just did it mentally. So this is the short mental method versus the long drawn out method. Now when we try the next one, I'm going to have you split your paper down the side, and you are going to write down both methods, and by the end we're just going to do a couple more problems. I'm hoping that one method makes more sense to you. Okay? All right, next one. Let's do 60. You know, I'm going to change this. Let me write this down. Let's do 75 divided by 4. Okay, so everybody write that down neatly because we're working on our precision and our overall quality of our math work. And then I'm going to do this again 2 ways. Let's start with the long written out way because that's kind of what we've known. I'm going to rewrite it on one side. So I'm going to do 75 divided by 4. Okay, again, I have 7 tens, 5 1s. Okay, and again, I'm starting in my tens place. If I have 7 tens and I have 4 groups, and I'm trying to get all the tens there, in my head, I'm thinking 4 times what's going to get me really close to 7. Well, I can skip count. 4, 8, 7 falls in between there. That means that I can only give away 1 per group. So that means I gave away 1, right? I've given away 4 of them, and I can't keep going because I only have 3 left in 4 groups, and that's not fair. If I have given away 4 tens, that means I've given away 40, right? 10, 20, 30, 40. And I'm going to subtract and see how much I'll have left over. And I have 35, which I can check, 10, 20, 30, and I still have my 5 1s. Now, we are in the 1s place. As a reminder, because we are in the 1s place, I see I have 5 1s. However, I still have those 3 10s that I needed to regroup. So if I have 3 10s and I'm regrouping them into the 1s, technically now I have 35 1s. Now I have to do 35 divided by 4. In your head, you're thinking 4 times what gets me really close to 35 so that I can split those up. If you don't know, you are going to have to continue your skip counting or listing out your multiples. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 20, 32, where am I? 35, 30. Oh, I need to stop. I can't do 36. 35 would go right there. So that's 4 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I can give away 8 groups or 8 1s to each of those 4 groups. If I've given away 4 groups of 8, then I've given away 32 1s. And I can subtract and see I've given away my 10s, I've given away my 1s. So I have 35 minus 32, and that's 3. And then that must mean that I have 3 1s left over that I can't give away. So my answer to this, or my quotient, would be 18 remainder 3. Again, just as a quick reminder, you don't have to write this down, but I can check to see if I am correct. I can take my quotient, multiply it by however many groups, because I should have 4 groups of 18. 8 times 4 is 32. 4, 5, 6, 7. I get 72, but don't forget about that leftover 3. I'm going to add those 3 on. 75, 75. Okay, so keep this long way, and now on the other side of your paper, we're going to do the same problem, but we're going to do it more of a short mental way. Okay? So, in my head, I'm doing the same thing. I have 7 tens, and I'm trying to put them into 4 different groups. 4 times what gets me really close to 7? Well, 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. So I can't do the 8 one, so I'm going to have to give one group of that. If I have 4 groups of 10, I've given away 4, okay? Because I have, or technically 40. If I have given away 1 10 to everybody, and there's 4 people, I've given away 4 tens. Well, if I have 7 tens, I need to figure out how much are left over to get to that 7. Well, if I'm at 4, I can count out 5, 6, 7. That means that I have 3 tens left over that I need to regroup into the next place value, which are my 1s. So if I have those 3 tens, if I turn this number to the side, I can see that I have 3 tens plus those original 5 1s. If I regroup it all, it means I have 35 1s. 35 divided by 4, well, I already know because of my multiples down here that 4 times 8 gets me to 32, and 4 times 9 gets me to 36. I have to go with the 8. That would be 32. If I've given away 32 and I'm trying to get to 35, 32, 33, 34, 35, that means I have 3 that I have not gotten rid of, okay? Again, the same problem. I'm still getting the same thing. I'm going through the same steps. It's just that one way is a little bit more written out and the other way is more mental. I want you to pick which one makes sense for you. So this next problem, I think I'm going to have you guys, you know what, actually I don't want to do. I'm going to change this to this. I want you right now to pick a way that you will want to try for this problem. Either the long right now way like you've been taught, or the new short method if you would like to try that, or you can try both and see if it makes sense to you. And then when you're ready to listen to me explain it, press play. So pause it, try to solve this, and then press play. Okay, I'm hoping that you have tried it. I'm going to do this two ways. Oh my gosh. 69, and I'm splitting that into 2 groups. So again, that means I have 6 tens, 9 ones, and I'm trying to split it into 2 groups, okay? So again, I'm going to start in my tens place because that's the biggest place value. If I need to regroup, I can. If I start with the ones, then I'm just kind of at a block of 5 extra. So 6 tens divided by 2. Well, I know that 2 times what gets me 6, and I know it's 3, 2, 4, 6. Ooh, look, I fall right on top. I get the exact number, so I know there's not going to be a remainder. So if I give everybody 3 tens, and that means that I've given 2 groups of 3 tens. That means I've given away 60 total, okay? And so I need to see how much I have left after I've given away those 6 tens, and I have 9 ones left, right? And in my ones place, that means I have my ones left. Now, I need to think about 2 times what gets me really close to 9. So I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. I know that 9 is in between 8 and 10. So I know that 2 times 4 gets me to 8, and 2 times 5 gets me to 10. I can't do 2 times 5 because 10 is too many. I don't have 10. I can only give away what I actually have. So I know that 2 times 4, if I give 2 groups of 4 ones away, I've given away 8 ones. Hang on, let me make this. And I know that if I subtract, I have 1 1 left over. If I have 1 lonely 1 left over because I've given away all the others, I can't do, that's my remainder, because if I have 1 1 and 2 people, I can't do that. So I have a remainder of 1. As a reminder, I can check. I can take my quotient and multiply that. I get 68, but I've got that 1 left over, and I get 69. Okay, let's try this same problem, but this time the short mental way. So I have 69 divided by 2. I'm going to start with my tens. If I have 6 tens and 2 people, I know that 2 times 3 gets me exactly 6. I don't have a remainder. I've got nothing that I've had to regroup, so I still have 9 ones. I know that 2 times 4 gets me to 8, which is really close to 9. And I know that if I've given away 8 and I'm trying to get to 9, I have 1 left over. I get 34, remainder 1, 34, remainder 1. Okay, I'm hoping that if you got that, if you didn't, that's okay. We're going to keep practicing. So now we're going to do another one. And again, we have 2 more left. I want you to stop, pause the video, try this problem on your own, whichever way. If you want to challenge yourself and do both methods, that's awesome. If you want to pick a method that works best for you, go for it. Just make sure you understand what you're doing. Okay, 96 divided by 8. Okay, Now, again, I have 9 tens. 1, 2, 6 ones, and I'm splitting it this time into 8 groups. Okay, so if I have 9 tens and 8 people, in my head I already know that I can only give away 1, because if I skip count by 8s or give the multiples of 8, I have 8 16s. So I can only give away 1 10. If I've given away 8 tens, then that means I've given away 80 total, right? Because everybody, if I give away all these, I would just have this one guy left over, okay? So then that means if I have 1 10 left over and my 6 ones, I have 16 left. And I'm in my ones place because of place value. So my tens place, my ones place. If I have 6 ones, I can't forget about this 1 10 that I've regrouped. So I have a total of 16. I have a total of 16 ones. Again, look, I already know my multiples of 8, and I know that if I have 16 ones and 8 people, or 8 groups, that means everybody gets 2, because I know that 8 times 2 is 16, and I'm not going to have a remainder. I'm going to have the actual answer as 12. Again, I can check by taking my quotient. 96, 96. Okay, let's try this one over here. 96 divided by 8. Okay, again, I know that 8 times 1 gets me as close as I can get to 9. If I do 8 times 1, I've only given away 8, and I'm trying to get to 9, so I have 1 left over. So now I have 16 ones because I regrouped my 1 extra 10. And I know that 8 times 2 gets me to exactly 16, and I don't have a remainder because I've given everything away, and I have my answer as 12. Okay, we're going to do one more problem. Again, this time I want you to pause the video, and I want you to try to do 91 divided by 7. Pause it, pick a method that you would like, or do both, and then press play when you're ready. All right, let's see, 91 divided by 7. This time I'm going to switch things up and start with the short method first. Okay, if I have 9 tens, and I have 1 1, 91, and I have 7 groups that I'm splitting it into, I'm trying to figure out if I have 9 tens, how many, if I have 7 people or 7 groups, how many everybody gets. Well, I know my multiples, 7, 14. I know that 9 is in between 7 and 14. So I can only give everybody 1 10, because 7 times 1 is 7, and 7 times 2 is 14, so I can only give away 1. If I give away 1 group of 7, or 7 groups of 1, 7 times 1 is 7, and I'm trying to get to 9, I need to figure out how many I have left over from 7 to 9. Well, I can count up 7, 8, 9, and I know that I have 2 10s that I won't have given away, and those 2 10s, I'm going to regroup next to my next place value, the ones, and now I have 21 ones. Again, I'm going to show you one here, because I've given away 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2. So those guys are all gone, and then I have these 2 10s left over, and I have my 1 1 right there. Again, I have to regroup these 2 10s to be 20 ones. So I technically have 20 plus this extra, so I technically have 21 ones, which is why I have 21 right here. Now, if you're knowing your math facts, you should know in your head that 7 times 3 gets you to exactly 21. If you don't, then you got to keep doing your multiples on the side. 7, 14, 21. So I know that 7 times 3 gets me exactly to 21, and if I've given away 21 of my 21, I don't have a remainder, and my answer is 13. Again, I can check by taking my quotient and multiplying. I get 91, 91. Okay, now let's come over here to this side, and we'll do it the longer way. And I'm going to do the same thing. I have 9 10s and 7. That means everybody's just going to get 1. I've given away 7 groups of 10. I've given away a total of 70. And if I subtract, I have 21 left. Again, a lot of times kids just look at this 2 or this 1. You have to look at place value. I'm in the ones place, so I need to look at my ones. However, I can't forget that I have those 2 10s that I've regrouped, and now I have 21 ones. And I've given away 3 groups because I know that that equals 21, and I don't have a remainder. Okay, so the goal after this video today is for you to get some practice in division. Pick a method that works for you, because in the next video you are going to need it, and for chapter 3 you are going to need it. I'm hoping that our notebooks look neat and organized, and what we're going to do next is you're going to watch one last video about kind of what we would do if we were going to estimate with division. All right, bye guys.